Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
I was thinking of that old, tune, rain, rain, go away. No. Rain, rain, please. We need more of you. Keep on a-coming. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday, July 24th rendition of Lynn Cullen Live. Although I feel about, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm mostly alive. I'm definitely on that spectrum. I'm more alive than dead, but there's something going on with my voice. So if it gives out in the middle of the show, why then my sister Susan in St. Louis is going to step in and take over. Susan?
I am?
Yeah, because it keeps sort of like going away. Don't I sound a little not right?
You sound a little like me, a little more like me than usual.
Yeah.
But I sound this way all the time.
Yeah, a little congested, post-nasal drippy.
A little congested, post-nasal drippy, and more basso than usual.
Basso, yes, I do. So, anyway, I heard you and Jess talking when she was getting you on, so I was taking it from Jess' end of the conversation, just getting the weather crap out of the way, that you guys are dying again.
It's 107 today. It was 106 yesterday.
Oh, God. No wonder. Somebody said to me, I mentioned that I was going to Florida in August, and they laughed in my face and said, who the hell goes to Florida in August? I said my sister and her husband, they always do. And for the first time, I figured it out. It's like balmy compared to St. Louis. That's why you escape. God.
Right. And it's got a nice beach.
It's got a beach and a breeze, and yeah.
And there's nobody there because everybody else thinks who would go to Florida in August. So the beaches are empty, the restaurants are empty. You can just go about your life and enjoy yourself. And believe me, it'll be at least 10 to 15 degrees cooler than it's been here all summer.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I mean, when it
awful.
hits 95 here, we go, ah!
Oh, thank God. Give me a sweater. It's 95. I'm freezing. God. Well, our heat is less. We've been getting some rain, thank God, but not enough.
Yeah, and we're in total drought. No rain.
Yeah, I feel for you. I feel for everybody. I feel for all of us because, of course, it all ends up hurting everybody.
Well, and the farmers, what's happening here is, I mean, most of the corn just burned up in the field.
That's right, it's gone.
But for the corn, the early corn that actually was almost there, guess what happened to it? It cooked.
It literally cooked in the...
It cooked on the stalk.
Oh, Jesus God. I bet.
It did. They were taking it off and bringing it to shelters just to eat it.
Sure. Oh, my God. Well,
yeah, it's
I'm sorry. Sort of, I can't even imagine living there and all the people there who have to live and work outside. And, it brings me to this little item that I saw in the science section today, that a fan, an electric fan, is not necessarily going to help anybody In fact, it can be detrimental if the temperature is over 95. So for people in St. Louis who don't have air conditioning, and you got to believe there are.
Of course there are.
Yeah. Who maybe have one little fan that they sit in front of. It says right here that a fan blowing air on you over over 95 degrees can raise the risk of dehydration and heat exhaustion. It can actually contribute to heat gain. So above certain temperatures, using an electric fan is not a good idea.
No, it doesn't help.
Although I was
in
thinking,
conjunction with air conditioning is helpful, but not. No.
Right. But what
just
I was
during
thinking
hot
that
air. And I'm telling you, when you're out at 106 degrees, you can understand how easy it is to die in it.
Yeah. No,
because you just feel your body coming up to temperature, and pretty soon you're dead.
Yeah. But I'm thinking, wouldn't a fan still work for a person if they kept, like, putting water on their body so that the fan would evaporate the water?
If it's not taking the water out of your body, yes.
So
and if they were constantly hydrating and keeping themselves damp to simulate.
Right, just keeping yourself, like, even wrapped in a cold, sheet, and then just have a fan on that. But how awful! What a way to live! Oh my God! And then think of what people did before there was electricity.
You know what they used to do? They used to sleep in Forest Park.
In the parks, but
right,
still,
the whole town, the whole city used to just.
Well, people slept on their porches, slept in parks, I don't think they did much sleeping. I don't know how you sleep in that. God. Oy, well, Susan, this is just the new normal. This is the way it's going to be. I think you guys should decamp to Florida for the entire summer, not just a week.
Yeah.
We're going to Florida in August to cool off. Jeez. Nuts. You didn't happen to see an article about this bear?
Yes, the one in Sears.
Mm-hmm. Well, she'd gone to Walmart first and went seeing what she wanted. And then she went over to.
There were two of them.
No. The one that was really trolling them all. Walmart, they saw her, and then she went to Penny's, and then she walks into Sears, and it's because of those automatic doors.
Oh, right. Yeah. She just triggers them and
she walks in. And she's walking around in the store. God. Too funny. Anyway, yeah, they're looking for her mate, who seems to be have been sighted. He's looking around for her. Last time I saw her, she went shopping, just like a woman. Always has to be shopping. Where the hell is she? So they've got there's a picture in the paper today of this. It looks like a huge oval canister, and it says in big bold writing on it, "Danger, bear trap." I guess they're assuming the bears can't read. And it says here that they're putting this out, trying to get the mail, and they're baiting it. What do you think they're baiting it with?
I have no idea. Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just they're baiting it with ding dongs and Hostess mini muffins. Hostess ding dongs and mini. I don't know why not Twinkies, but Hostess mini muffins and ding dongs. And the game commission officer says we always use sweets. That does it. So some poor bear, smelling a ding dong, is about to get trapped in this dang thing, and then they're gonna take him as far away from the mall as they can and drop him off. So there you have it. I love the idea of these automatic doors. And they've said that at the same mall, Susan, they've had deer. Yeah. They've had deer in the store. Same thing. It's obviously next to a forested area.
They have to figure this out. Maybe they should change them for the same button that you use for the handicap doors.
Yeah, something like that.
Or maybe we should just open them. We could call it exercise.
You mean
open
actually
your own door.
Pull open a door? You gotta be kidding me. Jeez. Okay, so, Sue, speaking of the science section, before we get into anything too serious, there were other things in there of a sexual nature, and I just wanted to...
Yeah, those corals.
I got to tell you, can you imagine? You go into you're a laboratory scientist. You think that might be not interesting. But there's an article in the New York Times science section today about a woman whose job it is to get coral to, I guess, what does she do? She gives them like Playboy magazines, tells them to go in this room and...
I think actually it's more related to the stages of the moon. But your story is true.
Yeah, but that's true too, and that's odd. They know that coral get it on at 2 days after the full moon. Oh, Mr. Moon, Mr. Moon, won't you shine on? Da, da, da. So 2 days after they get the full moon, coral go nuts.
Or at least they start
releasing sperm.
Expelling sperm.
Right. Now, I don't know about you, but thinking of coral as fauna has always been a hard thing for my head to get around. They look like flora to me.
Right.
Right? They're fauna, though. Right. Aren't they? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. It's like barnacles. It's things that don't look...
They're a sea creature, I thought they were rocks, but they're a sea creature.
Right. I remember when I was having the coral reefs are dying, I thought, what do you mean? They're rocks. But no. So we're idiots. So anyway, how do you get, but say you know that they're in danger because of, okay, all you Republicans, put your earmuffs on. I don't want to upset anybody out there. Because of global warming, the coral reefs are dying out.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, how come it's reefs and not reeves?
Because English makes no sense.
Okay. All right. Just asking. So anyway, Dr. Mary Hagedorn, it's her job to get these corals to get hot and bothered and shoot sperm out, which she then has to capture and bank because they're making a sperm bank for coral because they might have to reintroduce them after we've destroyed all of them.
Right.
So I thought there was one paragraph in this piece that was actually a bit of a bodice ripper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Little hot and heavy. A little 50 Shades of Grey or whatever that idiotic book is, okay? Listen to this. And there's sort of a creepy thing of sort of like peeping Tomism, voyeurism going on here. So listen to this. As Dr. Hagedorn and her assistant watch, one coral tightens its mouth and seems to exhale, propelling a cloud of sperm into its bath with surprising vigor. The water bubbles like hot oatmeal. Excuse me. Suze, is that hot or what? That's in the science section. Is that cool?
Biology has always been stimulating.
Propelling a cloud of sperm into its bath with surprising vigor. The water bubbles like hot oatmeal. Jess doesn't believe me. She wants to see it. Okay, the only different thing I did is I put it in current. It read the water bubbled like oatmeal. I put it in, present tense to give it a certain, well...
No, I recognize that paragraph. I read it myself.
Yes, yeah.
Not quite with the same inflection.
Well, I mean, for a science reporter, that is pretty, like bubbling oatmeal?
Well,
what?
Right, but I was still wondering, where the hell is the coral's mouth?
The who, what? Oh, the coral's mouth. It purses its mouth and shoots. So the sperm come out of its mouth.
Ew.
Well, maybe. Where's its mouth?
Well, it don't look anything like like us, so I don't know where its mouth is. If it has a mouth, it has an other end too, right?
Right. So how do we know which end it's coming out of?
Well, I assume she knows. She's been studying them. Jeez, I don't know. So anyway, I found that of interest. And then one more science thing, and I'll cease and desist. What do bats eat? Insects, right?
Right.
They fly around.
Mosquitoes, a lot of them.
Yeah, God bless them. Not enough, though. They fly around at night, and they're eating insects. However, they really like flies the best. But flies, get this, do not fly around at night. So it's hard for a bat to actually find flies at night.
That's why they're such a delicacy in the bat world.
Well, but it says they're not just a delicacy. They actually rely on them for much of their diet. So how do they find them? It turns out, and get this is sexual too. Flies might not fly around at night, but let me tell you what they're doing.
They're otherwise engaged.
They're screwing around at night. Flies have sexual congress at night. And they're noisy. When the males are having sex, they emit little shrieks of delight. And their little shrieks of delight are heard by passing bats. So you have this weird thing where in order to propagate the fly species, the male fly actually gives himself away to one of his biggest predators in his orgasmic delight. Isn't that interesting?
Boy, so bats are the female fly's hitmen.
Yes. Well, no, but see, if the fly is copulating, you got a male on a female, and in fact, the bat gets both of them.
Oh.
And the researchers wanting to make sure it was the male's, coital shrieks of delight that were what was getting the bat's attention. They actually get this, researchers. They actually got dead flies. They took a male and stuck him on top of a female so that they glued him on top of the female so it looked like they were having sex. And then glued them out in various areas and offering, essentially, these dead flies up to the bats at night. Look, copulating flies! And the bats did not eat any of them, didn't go near them. You know why? They didn't know they were there because they were dead, and they were not emitting shrieks of delight.
Maybe the female wasn't so delighted to have a dead fly on top of her.
No, she's dead too.
Well?
It says we took dead flies and mounted them in a copular position. But none of the mounted flies were ever attacked by the bats. So, they say, the scientist says, this is an interesting predicament that flies face. And I want to test your empathy here because it's not normal.
I'm on the bat side.
That we want to understand, put yourself in a fly's shoes, so to speak. Here is a fly's predicament. Do you want to mate longer and be more vulnerable, but also increase your reproductive success? Or do you want to make it a quickie and get away alive? That's the predicament. Do you want your pleasure? Your pleasure could cost you your life. Just saying. Just saying. All right, Susan.
Yes.
Is there a big story in the news that is of interest to you? I know there are a few big ones out there. We got a call?
No.
What?
I just read Spanier said,
Jess.
I don't know if you saw this.
No. Hey, are you whispering to me during the show,
No.
Jess?
Yes, he is.
You know, but you
Okay,
gotta.
what are you two talking about?
Yeah.
I'm just telling you so you can.
Yeah, but okay. Jess.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a story that you want to talk about?
I just wanted to let you know the headline I just saw.
Okay, Jess just saw a headline. It says Spanier, the disgraced former president of Penn State, yes,
that he was
abused as a child.
And persistently
abused as a child.
And that it would be illogical.
Illogical for him to allow any. Well, the story is that he was beaten regularly as a child. He was not sexually abused, not that, but man, Spanier's, desperately trying to salvage his, I don't know, I guess he's trying to keep from getting indicted. So this Penn State thing is ugly, and then, of course, you've got Colorado. Do you have anything to say about any of it?
No, what good does it do to talk about it? I mean, like the thing in Colorado, every time this happens, we wring our hands, we scream, do something, then we forget about it until the next time it happens. There's nothing. This is the natural consequence of our drug laws. That's it. I mean, of our gun laws. That's it. I don't know what people expect.
Well, Susan, that's exactly what I've been saying. I have nothing to say either. Exactly the same thing. And Penn State, you don't care.
Penn State. I think it's unfortunate that what I think is absolutely correct, in terms of what they've done, what the NCAA did. I think it's correct. I think somebody really needs to get slapped upside the head. That said, all the other schools, there are a bunch of people that, threw their hats on that particular ring, and it's going to have lifelong consequences for them. I feel sorry for the fact. The side effect is that you punish the innocent along with the guilty.
Well, that's the way it always happens, though. I mean, if you think of every law there is, the laws are there because some jerks, always in a minority, couldn't do the right thing. And so everybody sort of ends up having to be constrained in some way. It's always the case that the horse is out of the barn.
Right.
And it's only everybody who comes after who bears the burden. Although, I mean, the perpetrators here are going to jail. And they're going to have their... But, yeah, looking at those football players... I mean, these are young guys, and, you feel for them. I do.
Yeah, this is their shot. I mean, they'll
go to another school.
Seen.
No, the ones that have a real shot will get scarfed up by other universities who have their priorities all screwed up, too.
Right.
Right. So the kids...
See, to me, the correct discussion is either we admit that college football is professional sport and deal with it separately,
right?
Or you just stop all this nonsense and have universities remember what their mission is.
Well, see, there's so much money that they get from this that they're not. It's like drugs. It's an addiction. They can't give up the money or the thrill. Diane says, so the flies are really getting screwed. And let's see. Robert wants us to talk about Chick-fil-A and gay rights. Excuse me? Let's see. What are your takes on Chick-fil-A turning against same-sex marriage? Well, I don't think they ever turned against it.
They didn't. This is the way the owner has always been thus.
He doesn't even open on Sundays, does he?
No.
Right. That's amazing.
And I deal with that. There's a furniture store in town whose whole message is that they're good Christians and they close on Sunday, because it's God's day of, rest. And they respect God, and that's always been their commercial line, So I, being Jewish, I always think to myself, well, not my God.
Right, my God takes Saturdays off.
So
yeah,
what does that mean? I don't go to that store.
No, but I bet some very strong Christians do, and that's what they,
that's
they would
right.
support
and
that.
The people that feel strongly about not supporting people because of their owners' political beliefs, don't go.
See, I don't go to Chick-fil-A ever since I heard that they're, actively anti-gay.
I've never been.
Well, I hear we're missing out on a pretty good chicken sandwich.
Yeah, my son. I was with my kids this weekend, and my son admitted that he was a little bummed because they had one hell of a chicken sandwich.
So also, Bob writes, and what about having Mike Huckabee chosen as the new spokesperson for Chick-fil-A in place of the Muppets? What?
Well, the rumor has it that he'll be the new he's going to be the vice president nominee.
Huckabee?
Yeah.
Nah. Where'd you hear that?
I don't know, on some radio or another.
Nah. The Muppets did Chick-fil-A commercials?
Yeah.
But aren't Bert and Ernie gay? Well, I'm serious. And why would they want to be associated with? Oh.
Well, apparently they don't.
Oh, well, I don't know that they don't. I think they lost a good gig, and who the hell knows? These are very important issues we're discussing. On a more serious note, I want to note the passing of Sally Ride.
Why is it that pancreatic cancer seems to kill all of these brilliant scientists? Techno people.
I'm sure it kills other people, too.
I know.
But it's a real killer, and it kills around this age range. 40s, 50s, it seems. And although she was 61.
She was 61.
And she was the first woman in space and the youngest person ever to be an astronaut. And she was lovely in every way and smart as courageous, smart, private, apparently just a class person with a perfect name to be an astronaut. Sally Ride. So that was...
it's like the fireman that caught the little autistic girl that was dancing on the air conditioner.
What was his name?
His name is Saint Bernard.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like John St. Bernard or something. And no one said a word about it. I said, how could you not say anything about that?
The St. Bernard rescues... Well, he didn't give her whiskey or anything, did he? Here's the thing about that story. I've never mentioned that story. But... if that story were to have happened here, it was in New York, right? Was it?
Right.
If that story were to have happened here, the hue and cry to charge that child's parents or whoever was taking care of her would have been huge. And the odds are would have been charged. If you were caring for an autistic child and she's dancing on an air conditioning unit outside where are you?
She was, paying attention to the other child for a moment in the apartment, and it never occurred to her that kid could get through the space, where the air conditioner was. It was a teeny little place she couldn't get back through.
Okay, so you know this?
I know this.
Okay, because I saw that no charges were being filed against me. I thought, wow, because around here, if you so much as look at your, if you walk out of the room and your child stubs its toe, it seems like, you get charged sometimes. I don't mean to, but sometimes I think things get a little absurd. I do.
Right. Well, it would have been in this case because it's, I think this is a mother that legitimately had her hands full and was not in any way negligent.
Right. And my understanding also is that a lot of people saw this kid out there, and nobody did anything.
Except for this guy who just went and stood under her and held up his hands. And,
figuring she was going to fall.
Told her to jump.
No, I don't think he told her to jump.
He didn't. He was just held up. He
figured she was going to fall.
Yeah, I heard him interviewed.
Oh. Susan, you're always on top of these stories. Okay. I, on the other hand, am on top of the sexuality of coral, flies, and barnacles, by the way. Okay, let's get a break in here, and we'll come back. I'm talking to my sister Susan in torrid St. Louis, where it is too hot to have sex. Is it?
More on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Laser Hair and Skin Center has been providing professional, affordable services for over 10 years. Now they're proud to exclusively offer RegenLite acne treatment. RegenLite is an FDA-approved, non-invasive drug, chemical, and pain-free treatment of all grades of acne. With RegenLite, you will experience a 50% improvement in less than 2 weeks, with lasting improvement for up to 12 weeks. Call the Laser Hair and Skin Center today at 412-373-1700 and receive $100 off your first session. Or go to mylaserhair.com for more information and to see their full line of services. The Laser Hair and Skin Center.
Vella wants to thank all of southwestern Pennsylvania, the USA, and the world for helping to liberate his native country of Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea has suffered 43 years of dictatorship, 43 years of human rights abuses, 43 years of corruption, and 43 years of kleptocracy. Even with $5 billion in oil revenue in 2011, the 700,000 citizens of Equatorial Guinea earn less than $2 per day. A proud Mount Lebanon resident, please help Gustavo and Vella usher in the 21st century by allowing freedom, democracy, and socioeconomic prosperity by the rule of law for the next 43 years and beyond. Email him at presidentandvella@yahoo.com to help free Equatorial Guinea.
Get Lynn Cullen Live on your smartphone. Go to citypapermobile.com now for Pittsburgh City Paper's brand new mobile app. Get the latest restaurant reviews, event listings, movie times, and of course, Lynn Cullen Live on your smartphone. citypapermobile.com.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn@pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
So Susan and I had someone over for dinner last night, and because it was, I just was not into making much, but I made a lovely salad niçoise.
Yeah.
And we're sitting eating it, and I'm thinking, somehow this thing isn't doing it for me. And he kept insisting it tasted wonderful. It was very good. Oh, this is good. Oh, this is good.
Was it cat food?
No.
You didn't.
No, I didn't put cat food in it. You know what I did?
Lynn?
No, I didn't. That's totally going the wrong way on this. I forgot to put the tuna in.
Oh.
I thought, what's with this salad niçoise? It's so bland. There was no tuna in it. What?
Well, may I suggest cat food?
That would have given it a little zip. It was, God, how do you forget the main ingredient, huh? Jeez. So anyway.
Well, I must say that we cooked up a Friday night feast.
Your
mostly
kids?
My kids.
Yeah, well, they're good cooks.
And my son did a
Don't do it.
Fish tacos, and with grilled fresh tuna, and and wasabi guacamole. Oh, was that good? And Chinese cabbage.
Wasabi
it was so good.
Well, Susan, I have here a tweet that has just been sent to me from Ed, and he found this on, he says, Paris Notebook. It is a tweet from Paris. This is right on the money. Listen to this. Here's how a Parisian looks at us. It says a lot about the U.S. that when a man in a costume with a gun kills a bunch of people, they ban costumes.
Yep.
Think about it.
That's what they did. No masks in the theater.
That's right. They had costumes.
Well, everybody was, there was a media, online. Well, someone in that theater had just had a gun, and I'm thinking there would have been two people
shooting,
been caught in the crossfire.
Right, exactly. And what if everybody had a gun? Why, you could have mowed down everybody. Jesus God.
Yeah, I'm just tired of it. I'm not going to fight this anymore. This is what you want. And apparently, did you hear what the Wisconsin congressman had
No, he's
to
not
say?
a he wasn't a congressman.
He basically just said that. This is my right, and there's always going to be crazy people, and they're always going to do things like this, and that just can't be helped.
Susan, I hate to tell you, I think, Susan, that's not a congressman. That is a Wisconsin senator. That is the guy, the brilliant guy, who the brain-dead voters of Wisconsin
put in instead of Feingold.
Instead of Russ Feingold. Into this friggin' fool.
Well, I think it's very nice to know. The American people should know this, that they are considered collateral damage to these kind of Republicans and the NRA. Simply collateral damage. It cannot be avoided. We're civilian casualties.
Geez, I wonder if he'd feel that way if he was the casualty. Assholes. Anyway, Susan.
Yes. You sound just like Mother.
I did?
Yes, that's how when she calls me, that's how every phone call starts. Susan.
Right. Susan. Anyway, Susan.
Yes.
There was a piece in the Sunday Times about public kissing and not, seeing somebody else kissing. When is it all right? Cut it out, get a room, that kind of thing.
No, kissing hello, but people greeting each other with kisses.
Right. And I didn't find the article all that great, but it brought up to me an issue that does make me nuts. When did it happen? In your milieu, when you, let's say you go to someone's house for dinner, is it an assumed now that you kiss everybody who comes in the door?
It's tiresome, and there's this whole etiquette now, then if you don't kiss someone, it's like, well, what's wrong with me? And the fact that, in my own head, that I'm thinking, I don't know you.
Exactly. People you don't know.
By the end of the night, I have only known you for one dinner.
Yeah,
Why do
for
I
dinner.
have to kiss
I got to kiss you now?
Right.
What is that? I always turn I'm always like turning my cheek. Damn if I'm going to kiss them.
Kissing you on the lips.
They're kissing on the lips when you don't even know them. And I'm thinking, go
even if you do know them.
away.
I don't want to kiss
I don't either.
somebody else's, husband on the lips.
Well, are you sure? There's some of them you might want to kiss on the lips.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, but this just assumption that we're all going to and, kissing. Every woman wants to be kissed. It's like you have to go, and nobody wants their lipstick to get screwed up. So you do these, the stupid air kissy things. And I hate it. Where did that come from? It came from Europe. It didn't. Americans never did this.
No. This is This is what comes of American touristry in Europe. It's the only thing they brought back is kissing on both cheeks.
Here's what it says. Here's what should be. In an ideal form, greetings are mutually agreed upon acts that cater to or at least acknowledge whichever of the duo wants the lesser amount of intimacy. Did you get that?
Yep.
In other words, if you don't know that this other person, if you're dying to kiss this person, you might want to, let them, and apparently it's women who are supposed to make the move, right?
Right.
So if a woman doesn't want, the trick here for women, they say, is
to just stick out my hand.
Put your hand out. But you don't shake hands going into someone's house. Let's say the man opens the door, or, you're in the house and he sees you for the first time. He grabs you, he hugs you, he kisses you. For you to put your hand out would be to be really a jerk. That's how now it's going to play. I don't know how you get away from this. I remember when it started happening, I thought it was because I was just hanging out with a bunch of artsy-fartsy European-y type people. But it's everywhere now.
No, it's everywhere. I promise you. And it irritates me, too.
And they say, according to the article, that a big thing now is heterosexual men showing how totally cool they are by kissing gay men on the lips.
Hey, please.
Well, hey.
But I don't kiss heterosexual women on the lips or lesbian women. I don't. Why do you want to kiss?
I have, because sometimes they come at you. They do. What are you going to do? No, two heterosexual women. It's like, oh, hello. Mwah. I'm thinking, geez, go away. It's like you run a gauntlet before you get into the damn room. Excuse me. Are we alone in this?
I can't imagine that we are. I know women that, absolutely, if they see someone coming at them, they just hold up their hands, they say no.
Well, there was a guy here in town who is very sophisticated and urbane, and he's a politician. He used to be the county executive, and he's a very, very rich man. He's a Southern gentleman. And so when he came up here, he brought with him his Southern charm, and he was always kissing. Is that a call?
Yes.
Well, let's try to do this call. Hang on. Just a sec.
Sounds like.
Hello?
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll make it quick. I'm just going to start patting people on the ass.
Bye. Yeah, do it. He's just going to pat guys on the ass.
Well,
that'll do it.
Speaking of someone who took the A train down to Wall Street every day for 3 years, that's not new.
No, well, yeah, but no, he's saying it when you greet somebody. Because what happened on the subway is that's groping. That's anonymous groping.
Well, that's true.
But, so this guy, his name is Jim Roddy, everyone will figure this out. He always, this is like 25 years ago. When you saw him coming, I would always sort of think, uh-oh, because he would kiss you. Now, he had to be he was the canary in the coal mine for me. He was before you did this. So when I would see him coming, I would think, oh, shit. Oh, God, he's going to kiss me. And you never knew how to. And I got to the point where I would say, hey, cut it. And I've even, in front of people, said, you're always trying to cop a cheap feel. It didn't dissuade him at all.
No. It just makes them want to try harder.
Right. I will be even more urbane. I shall kiss you. I shall kiss you if it's the last thing I do. Mwah! Mwah!
There was actually, here comes another psychoanalyst story. There was a a South American psychoanalyst that
walks into a bar.
That he had a way with the ladies.
Yes.
And I mean, this guy literally, he chased me across a city street once in order to give me a kiss hello. But he would always do it while firmly planting at least one hand, if not two, upon one's breast.
What?
Oh, he was just amazing. I would run. I would absolutely run from him.
God. Whatever happened to that? There was a little flurry there where we decided we were going to greet each other with elbow bumps.
Yeah, right.
I'll stick an elbow in a few ribs of these people who are
and then
constantly
the fist
kissing.
bump became a terrorist.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Remember Barack and Michelle fist bumping in the last? I thought it was going to cost them the election. Remember, New Yorker had a cover of the two of them fist bumping, looking like terrorists.
Right. And they got in trouble.
Oh, God. Now, here is actually a proper etiquette. I want everybody to listen. If it's a man and a woman who are greeting each other, the lady proffers her cheek or cheeks. If she doesn't want to kiss, she extends her hand. If it's two women, it's the senior one who sets the terms. Well, now, I ask you, first of all, who knows this? Nobody. And secondly, two women greeting each other, which one would admit to being the senior?
That's right. Which one? The one with the most Botox gets to go first.
Jeez. God. Oh, wait. Hello. Oh, hello. God, stop it. False intimacy. And it's germy, too. God.
Well, no, everybody's just totally... You have to be on kissing terms with the whole world because you're online telling them every last detail about your personal life.
That's right, and
so you must be best friends with everyone.
Susan, I have 5,000 friends.
Well, not me. I can't find you.
Wouldn't I kiss every single one of them if they're my friends? When the word friend has come to mean nothing, then I guess instead of a handshake or a nod or a curtsy and a bow, we're now, But listen, you know what? In another 5 years, we'll be, there'll be, these will be, tongue kisses.
Oh, please.
Oh, please? Whoever thought? Jeez. Do I need to take a break? Mm-hmm. I'm making myself ill.
Mm-hmm. Your voice sounds strangely stronger.
Well, I'm getting, all this sex talk. We started with sex. Granted, it was choral sex, but choral sex.
I'm back on the etiquette rules for kissing, whether the woman either offers one cheek or two, which sounds like...
I know. I thought the same thing. I thought, excuse me, is choral sex... When I said choral sex, did you think oral sex?
No.
Well, you should have. Think of it. Choral sex. All right, I'm out of here. Remember, they have mouths.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
Go to BergBargains.com for great deals on tickets to the Science Center, the History Museum, Carnegie Museums, and some of the best restaurants in Pittsburgh. During the month of July, spend $50 on Berg Bargains merchandise and receive a $10 gift certificate to Buca di Beppo. BergBargains.com. Local deals, local merchants. BergBargains.com.
It takes 12 years to create a graduate. It takes about the same time to create a dropout. And at the end of the day, the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be you. So United Way is asking you to make a pledge. Tutor a child who needs help. Mentor a kid who needs someone on their side. Volunteer to read to children. Because when a child advances, we all advance. Be a reader, tutor or mentor. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Take the pledge now at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
All right, let's stop all this nonsense and get to something depressing.
Good. I knew we were having too good a time.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I didn't see. This is why. This is where I if I produced this better, you would end laughing as opposed to wanting to commit suicide, which is what I'm about to do to you. Hello?
Yes, I'm dead already.
Okay, anybody in for some math? Here we go. Says here, if you want to maintain your current living standard into old age, you will need roughly 20 times your annual income in wealth in your retirement account. Okay? So that is to say, just to make it easy, if you make, I should only wish, $100,000 a year, in order to maintain the quality of life you enjoy at $100,000 a year, you need $2 million on retirement. Did that depress everybody?
Yeah, I'm pretty depressed. How are you?
Not too well. And this is, they say, this is beyond anything you will receive from Social Security. They aren't counting Social Security.
Well, if that's what you've got, you're going to be taxed on your Social Security such that you won't basically have any.
Okay.
People in a certain income bracket are basically their Social Security is confiscated. Of course, that we don't talk about that, but it is. It's taxed, and it's taxed very highly.
Okay, so why bother? So why don't they just not give it to people who are,
Because that's a political...
Okay, so they say, I want my Social Security even though I'm a millionaire, and then they just end up having to pay...
Then they just pay it all back in taxes.
Well, that's good. Okay. So it says here, 75% of Americans nearing retirement have less than $30,000 in their retirement accounts.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, what the hell's going to happen?
Well, they won't be taxed on their Social Security.
Yeah, but their Social Security ain't going to be able to keep them at the level that they're... It says almost half of middle-class workers, 49%, so we'll say half, will be poor or near poor in retirement, living on a food budget of $5 a day. Now, here again, like so many other things, this would never be a conversation you'd be having if you were European. The fact of the matter is that we have gutted our safety net for, we used to have pension plans, this 401k nonsense,
Right.
It has failed. It has failed.
Well,
it was always a failure.
And many of these people, these middle-class people, had negotiated pensions, which, certain people like governors are just saying, well, never mind.
That's right. So we have so a lot of people are saying, okay, I understand. I'm going to have to just keep working. Well, nice for you to say, but the fact of the matter is if you look at who's unemployed now, the unemployment rates for those over 50 are increasing faster than any other demographic.
Right, and you won't even keep your job because you'll be too expensive.
Right, and if you
They'll
lose,
fire you and hire
right.
someone younger.
That's right. This is the kind of wonderful, market-driven, capital, god-awful, just cruel kind of capitalism that we have embraced in this country. And I don't know.
It's actually characterized by companies that have their senior, workers train their replacements, before they fire them. It's like when you're at war and they make you dig your own grave.
That's right. And once you've lost your job as an older worker, if you're over 50, you lose your job. If by chance you end up landing another, the odds are you'll take if you're lucky, just a 25% wage cut. Most people who do, they're making half of what they used to make. So when you hear people saying, oh, I want to work into my 70s and 80s, the people who can do that usually are people who don't need to. They're lawyers who enjoy their work. They are wealthy people who run businesses.
They're professionals by and large.
They are. And they can, and they do for their own, mental well-being, but financially they don't need to. It also says that the people who are living the longest are generally the wealthier people, too. That when we see that people live longer, Americans' longevity has, let's say, increased or something. I don't know that it has, frankly. But it's, again, wealthier people who benefit from that. The gains in longevity in the last 2 decades almost all went to people earning more than average incomes.
Well, that's because the rest of them have no access to health care, for crying out loud.
It's beyond belief. I'm just saying what a failure we are we are not a mature democracy. We are not. And from the gun thing to health care to this, we show that we don't get it. We don't understand. And we've got another call, Susan. Let's try to get this poison in. Hello.
Hello, Lynn.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Hey, I just want a quick comment. You ever notice when somebody retires and you see them later on, they look 10 years younger? And another thing, work sucks the life out of you. That's all I got to say. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Was he laughing? That was him laughing?
I think so.
Well, I hope he's well off. Something tells me he's not. I hope, I don't know. People don't want to hear this. I don't blame them. They say, this is from a piece written by a professor of economics, and he says the approach we have to retirement is just simply ridiculous. And he says this: if you're not yet convinced that failure is baked into the voluntary, commercially run retirement plan system, the 401k stuff we have now, consider what would have to happen for it to work for you. First, figure out when you and your spouse will be laid off or be too sick to work. Second, figure out when you will die. Third, understand that you need to save 7% of every dollar you earn. And if you didn't start doing that when you were 25 and you're 55 now, well, then, sorry, you're going to have to save at least 30% of every dollar you earn. Fourth, earn at least 3% above inflation on your investments every year. 5, do not withdraw any funds when you lose your job. Do not withdraw any funds when you have a health problem. Do not withdraw any funds when you get divorced, buy a house, or send a kid to college. And 6, time your retirement account withdrawals so the last cent is spent on the day you die. Okay, that's how the current system is set up. It's impossible. The current model for retirement savings, which forces individuals to figure out their own plan for their retirement years, is absurd. Maybe a small percentage of people are capable of doing that, but most of us, and I will include myself, are most assuredly not. And he goes on to say it is now more than 30 years since the 401k IRA model appeared on the scene. This do-it-yourself pension system has failed. It has failed because it expects individuals without investment expertise to reap the same results as professional investors and money managers. What results would you expect if you were asked to pull your own teeth or do your own electrical wiring? That's the way Americans do it. We're hardy individualists. And when 75% of the baby boomers are living in poverty, you think we'll wake up? And then Susan, our kids are going to have to what? Support everybody while paying off the deficit, while, I don't know, building the roads we didn't build and shoring up the infrastructure we didn't do. We are despicable. Despicable in our malfeasance of self-governance. Unbelievable. There. Did I depress you now?
Yeah, I'm suicidal.
Good. Okay. Well, I'm thinking after I read that might be the way out. That might be what we need to do. Unbelievable. Just passing it on, because I think if ignorance is not bliss. You need to, you need to try desperately to shore things up for yourself, or downsize your reality before it's too late. Don't you think?
Well, yeah.
I don't see many people doing
that. You can't be Scarlett O'Hara about your senior years. And if you spend all your life telling people to get a job and take care of your own self, watch out when you're a senior if you don't have that $2 million sitting in the bank.
And if you don't have good health,
you don't have good health, that's right.
I don't know what happens. I don't know what's going to happen to everybody. What are they thinking? And we're not thinking. Okay, I was just sorry. See, I should have. If I'd started with that, though, everybody would have gotten depressed, and then we wouldn't have been able to get to fly copulation and torrid coral.
To the wonders of the world. We're back in how we've crapped up this wonderful world.
Yeah, we ain't doing too good a job of stewardship of anything. We really aren't. But, and speaking of that, somebody is, that Paterno statues, I saw somebody had a good idea about that. Don't take the statue down, they said. Put 2 more up, just like it, but change it so that the hands, one of their hands is over their eyes, the other hand is over their ears, and the other's over their mouth. Wouldn't that be right?
Right.
That would have been brilliant. Oh, well, that's it. So, Susan, stay indoors.
Yeah, I'm doing actually not. I'm going out there in a few minutes.
Okay,
but oh well.
Well, go from your air-conditioned house to your air-conditioned car to your air-conditioned wherever you're going, right? That's
basically what you do.
That's what you do, and try to stay alive in between, and hydrate.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. And Chris Potter will be here tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Try not to depress you anymore. I'm off. Goodbye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.